I'm 34, grew up in a working-class family. I put myself through college working 2 jobs, grinding every day. No handouts, no shortcuts, just pure effort, stress, and sacrifice. At 28, I finally bought my own house. That place wasn't just a building, it was everything I'd worked for. And then my in-laws decided they had a right to it. It all started after a car accident. Some guy ran a red light and smashed into me. I ended up in the hospital with broken ribs and a concussion. It wasn't life-threatening, but it hurt like hell. Still, I figured I'd be back home in a few days. My wife didn't visit much, said she was busy taking care of things. I assumed she meant bills or maybe just keeping the house in order. I couldn't have been more wrong. When I was finally discharged, I called a buddy to pick me up. My car had been totaled. I was foggy, sore, and all I wanted was to crash in my bed. But when we pulled up to my place, something was seriously wrong. My furniture was out by the curb. Boxes with my name on them were shoved next to the garage. My heart dropped. Inside, my in-laws were making themselves very much at home. My mother-in-law was on my couch, flipping through channels. My father-in-law had made himself comfortable at my dining table, drinking my whiskey. My brother-in-law, lazy as ever, had his feet kicked up on my coffee table. And my wife, she was just standing there, watching, silent. I asked what the hell was going on. My mother-in-law didn't even blink. "Oh honey, welcome home. You were taking so long in the hospital, we figured we'd go ahead and move in. This house is too big for just you anyway." I looked at my wife, waiting for her to say it was all a joke. She didn't. She wouldn't even meet my eyes. My father-in-law added, "We're doing you a favor. You're always working, barely home. We'll take care of the place. It's better this way." I should have lost it, thrown them out then and there. But I didn't. I pulled out my phone and made a single call. "It's me. I need to come by. Now." Then I walked past them, ignoring the smug looks, and went to what used to be my bedroom. Except it wasn't mine anymore. They had moved in, replaced my bed, tossed my clothes in trash bags. My mother-in-law stood in the doorway sipping my wine. "You're overreacting, sweetheart. Family shares. We thought you'd be happy." I didn't respond. I just waited. The next morning, 24 hours later, they were all on the sidewalk with their bags. What they didn't know, what my wife had conveniently left out, was that the house was in my name. Only mine. I bought it before we got married, and her name was never on the deed. Legally, they were trespassers. So I called my buddy, a cop, and he brought some of his colleagues over. Officially, he wasn't involved, but he made sure the situation was handled properly. The knock on the door was sharp. My father-in-law answered with a scowl that quickly vanished when he saw the badges. "What's this about?" he barked. One officer stepped forward and said, "Sir, the homeowner has reported an unlawful occupation of the property. You need to vacate immediately." My mother-in-law pushed forward, indignant. "This is our daughter's house," she snapped. The officer looked at me. I handed over the deed. "This house belongs to me. Just me." The cop turned back to them. "You have no legal right to be here. If you don't leave willingly, you'll be removed." Cue the meltdown. My mother-in-law shrieked about being made homeless, sobbing that I was tearing apart the family. My father-in-law tried to argue, but it didn't matter. They had 10 minutes to pack their things or face arrest. And my wife. She stood frozen, eyes wide, completely silent. They tried to stall. Pleaded. Thought I was bluffing. Then I turned to my wife and calmly said, "I'm filing for divorce. Your things are packed and in a storage unit. You can go with them." Her face went pale. "You can't be serious," she said. I stared at her. "You let this happen. You chose them over me. We're done." She tried to speak, but the cops were already escorting her family out. Her brother threw a tantrum about having nowhere to go. Not my problem. My mother-in-law cursed me all the way to the curb, promising I'd regret it. I said nothing. Just watched. When they were finally out, I closed the door, locked it, and exhaled. But I wasn't done. I had found messages, texts and emails between my wife and her mother. Turns out they'd been planning this takeover for months. The accident was just the opportunity they needed. They'd even talked about getting me to add her to the deed, slowly pushing for control of the house. Gross. I sent everything to my lawyer, every message, every document, every shady move they made. My wife had never worked a real job. She'd lived off my income, contributed nothing to the mortgage, and had even been siphoning money into a separate account with her mother's help. In my state, financial fraud during marriage is no joke. She wasn't getting a cent. I filed immediately. Served her papers 2 days later. She came back to the house, fake tears and all, saying she made a mistake, she was just trying to help her parents. I laughed. You watched them move into my home while I was in a hospital bed. That wasn't a mistake. That was a choice. She kept trying to talk, but I shut the door in her face. Her parents tried to retaliate, posted sob stories online, harassed my job, even tried breaking back into the house. Security cameras caught them. They got slapped with trespassing charges. I didn't respond. Let them dig their own hole. The divorce wrapped up fast. She walked away with nothing. No house, no money, no alimony. Just the consequences of her choices. Last I heard, she moved in with her parents in a rundown apartment. Her brother got arrested for fraud. Her parents blew through whatever money they had left. As for me, I changed the locks, replaced the furniture, and took a deep breath in the quiet of my own home. And damn, it felt good. Lesson. Some people will take everything if you let them. Don't.